a 501c3 organization that conducts multicultural education and sponsors 2 scholarships for Jackson County High School seniors for their continuing education. We've accumulated a number of items of authentic folk dress, both from a donation from 10,000 Villages to Cultural Crossroads, as well as a number of personal items from the ethnic dance community from our many years as dancers with Emo Dancers, a former folk dance performing group. Tonight, we're going to present a variety of traditional dress from across the world, preceded by snippets of traditional music from that part of the world. Our models tonight are from the high school, so let's have a warm round of applause for all of them. Okay, as I get to their country, they'll come up on stage and come around here, up at the front where you can see, and then they'll take a spot in the back. Okay. Before we begin, however, we should address the issue of language. The term costume is defined as, quote, a prevailing fashion in coiffure, jewelry, and apparel of a period, country, or class. Costume as a term is based on the idea of custom. Unfortunately, the term has also come to mean any outfit which is designed to look like or call to mind the fashion of a particular time and people, sometimes rudely. When done rudely, this is called cultural appropriation, to be distinguished from cultural appreciation. Generally, cultural appropriation is defined as actions that are to a greater or less degree crass, unfeeling, and ego-centered. Actions that say, look at me, and may leave a slightly uneasy feeling in the viewer. Cultural appreciation, on the other hand, is loving, respectful, and honoring. It promotes the idea of unity and imparts a feel-good response. There's a difference between studying culture and appropriating culture. Diversity is our strength. We are stronger when we stand together in mutual respect, understanding and appreciating our differences, while united in our similarities and shared goals. When we move from appropriation to appreciation, those shared goals become shared bonds, and that's what makes America the great place that it is. I'm pleased that members of the local high school community are concerned about this issue. If more members of our society cared about these issues, there'd be less hatred in the world. Also, it is important for us to study and learn about other cultures if we're to open our awareness of the importance of the gifts of all cultures. And with that being said, let's start our imaginary journey around the world to learn about the other cultures. First, we'll travel to Bulgaria. You can see that Bulgarians love red and black, as those are the dominant colors here. The man's fur hat is indicative of the cold in the mountains. Those mountains, though, provide a great climate for roses. You may not realize that Bulgaria is actually the world's leading exporter of roses, rose attars, and perfumes. A part of the costume we're not showing here is the footwear. Like this. This is called opaki or opansi. Generally, the man will be wearing, although unfortunately I don't have any of this with him. They're found throughout the Balkans and are most closely related to moccasins, in that they're made from one piece of leather and pretty much sized to the individual foot. In fact, once you buy a pair of opaki, what you're supposed to do is wet them. I mean, get them really, really, really wet. Wear them then with the socks that are appropriate for that country until they dry. When they dry, they are the size and shape they need to be. So next, we're going to travel to the Middle East. This time, yes, thank you. This time we're going to travel to Palestine. This dress is indicative of the form of traditional dress in the Middle East, with the form of embroidery differing from Palestine to Syria to Lebanon. This particular dress was purchased in a Middle Eastern market in Kansas City. I saw it hanging from the rafters and inquired about it. This is a typical way in which inherited pieces may be turned into cash. I have also purchased an antique wool Greek Macedonian vest at a little store on the island of Skiathos, Greece, and a Hungarian outfit from a dancer from Hungary in Silver Dollar City, the Ozarks. These are all methods by which people with authentic antique pieces can convert them into needed hard currency. So it is actually doing something that they need. Next, we're going to go back to Europe, this time to Ukraine. You can see immediately there's a great similarity between the Bulgarian and Ukrainian men's shirts. This style appears throughout the area, although an expert can immediately tell the region from the pattern of the embroidery. If anyone is interested in this topic, I strongly suggest the blog folkcostume.blogspot.com, which is written by a Ukrainian friend. The chemise-style dress and the heavy back apron are from Ukraine. It is expected that the wearer of a purchased dress and back apron would prefer to make a personal front apron. The woven piece is called a platka and is folded over a sash, tied around the waist, and that lets the upper half fall over the lower part. You can turn around just a little bit, and you can see that that is separate. Now the garment is also often worn with one or both corners pulled up and tucked into the waist. It's then known as a winged platka, which is very handy for carrying items. You may have seen Ukrainian dance costumes and performances which are very similar to this outfit, but much shorter and not as bulky. That's typical of our modern times, as well as accommodation to dance and the movement. However, this dress is authentic from Ukraine as it made the traditional style. Our Ukrainian couple. We now return to the Middle East, this time to Egypt. This is a dress from Egypt. You can see the basic similarity with the Palestinian dress as far as the design is concerned, although the embroidery itself is much brighter and more metallic and obviously more modern. This piece was donated to cultural Crossroads from 10,000 villages, one of several pieces in the donation package. They were acquired by 10,000 villages from several sources and were donated to cultural Crossroads, being considered a more logical caretaker for them. Egypt. Thank you. For a different context, we now travel to China. Another 10,000 villages donation. This beautiful dress is made of silk with silk embroidery. This style is known as a Cheongsam and is a more modern take on the traditional Manchu dress. Introduced in the 20th century, the Cheongsam, almost known as the Quinpao, sometimes referred to as the Mandarin gown, is a Chinese style worn by women which takes inspiration from the Kizguing, the ethnic clothing of the Manchu people, a non-Chinese ethnicity which conquered China in 1644. China. Thank you. Now we go back to Europe, this time to Poland. These outfits are from the Krakow region in the plains of Poland. The traditional dress in the mountains, for example, is quite different. The man's outfit especially is striking, particularly the divided skirt designed for riding horseback. As you can imagine how that divided skirt would lay out over a horse's rump. Could our male model do a little twirl, perhaps, to show off the divided skirt of the outfit? Woo! Thank you. This version is based on a design which is a military dress uniform for the Polish Army for a while. There's always been a strong influence of military uniforms on men's designs. The pants can be blue, white, black, or a red and white striped variation which gives a sort of Uncle Sam look to the outfit. We've chosen black pants tonight to make it easier for our model. Perhaps the most striking part of the women's outfit is the vest, which is highly decorated. These decorations take many forms: embroidery, sequins, beads, etc. depending on the individuality of the woman creating them, and of course on the monetary status of the woman's family, what she can afford to do. So Poland. Now, in a bit of a switch, we're going to travel to the Western Hemisphere in Central America to visit Guatemala. As with most South and Central American clothing, the emphasis here is on color and design. Guatemala is known especially for the incredible variety of weaves and patterns in the base cloth. In fact, each village has its own distinctive weave. Much as it is possible to tell the clan and hence the ancestry of a Scot from their tartan, it's also possible to tell the time, the town, and hence the origin of a Guatemalan person from the weave of their clothing. Embroidery is lavish and only increases the appeal of the fabric itself. And so, Guatemala. And now we go to Africa, to Ghana. As you can see from here, the idea of the outfits here are very loose and flowing and colorful. Color is very important. Also, the loose clothing really helps as far as the heat is concerned and wearing them in the heated. Now, the turban is a different thing. The turban is not specifically supposed to be in this exact design. The woman can do it any way she wants. She can do it according to her mood. Maybe her mood is traditional, maybe her mood is fantastic. I think this is a great one here. And this is Ghana. And so at Cultural Crossroads, we believe we're not so different from other people in other places and other times. A young woman in a Stone Age cave, an old man in 16th century England, a family in pre-World War II Norway, and I submit Americans of the future who will travel to the stars. All share common hopes and goals. All people in all times, in all places share these things. We're born, we grow in knowledge, we hopefully age in wisdom. We look to the sky and wonder. We bake bread, build houses, fashion clothing as we've seen here tonight. We sing and dance. We educate our children and want the best for their future. At Cultural Crossroads, we're committed to the education of children and adults. We feel there's no better way to ensure that better future than to provide a legacy of peace. Thank you for your attention. Let's have a big round of applause for all our models and for John, our sound engineer.